How's it going, guys? So the day has finally come. I'm finally redoing my Boyd's Forest Dragon enclosure. I love this setup. I made the whole thing myself, but I absolutely hate the background on it. We made this big fake rock wall background for it, and it was a bit of a rush job at the time, just to get it done so I could get the animals in there. And now I absolutely hate it. I've been looking at it for too long. So today, we're gonna gut the whole enclosure, set up a new background, and make it look really nice and natural. Let's get started. Alright, so I just took their UVB light off and put it down here. This is going to be their temporary enclosure while I fix up their enclosure. I made this quite a while ago and I never ended up using it for anything, but now it can just serve as a little enclosure to keep them in for a few days while I work on their enclosure. There's a UV, Arcadia obviously. And yeah, I'll put in some of the branches and vines from their enclosure in here to give them some more stuff to climb on. And yeah, it's a bit of a downgrade in size, but like I said, it's only for a little bit of time, and it's so their enclosure can be that much better for them. Wow, so I really underestimated how much substrate I had in that enclosure. There's this thing full, and these two buckets. Crazy. It's full of worms and stuff, so it's really cool. I'm going to keep it. But here's the drainage layer we made back when we made the enclosure, and it's actually got water in the bottom of it. So it's good to know that we made this good enough that it's waterproof. There's nothing leaking out of it. So that's pretty damn cool. Now I've got to figure out how to get all this out, so then we can start on the background. So I've smashed out a bunch of the old sort of rock bits from the old background and just exposed the foam that we originally put there. And so now I'm basically just going to hit it with good old expanding foam, and I'm just going to cover the whole thing basically, just one line at least over everything. Make some little ridges and stuff, but nothing too crazy, and yeah, we can shape it from there. So let's get started. It's been a few hours and come back, and now it's all expanded and dry. So now comes the real fun part, the real creative part of shaping everything. So we wanted to just get all those top smooth edges off and make it all nice and rocky looking. So the shaping's just about done now. I didn't really have much of a plan on how I wanted it to sort of shape and look. I just sort of sprayed the foam out and just went with the sort of natural peaks and stuff that came out of that, and just smoothed it down so it was all sort of joining and flat. That's a mistake I think a lot of people make, is just too much jaggedness to it. I guess it depends on the look you're going for, but for me I like the look of it to be more smooth and flowing. And another tip is when you're cutting it all off, you can also grab the little pieces that you've cut off and shove it in any little holes and stuff to make up some room, so when you put the rock layer over the top of it, you're not wasting so much that's falling down in the gaps and stuff. So you can just fill up all the little holes, and yeah, it's less surface area. I've also put in a bit of leftover silicone I had lying around just to again patch up some holes, and yeah, we'll get started on the rock work. So what I'm going to do is mix up some sand and cement here. I'm going to use that to cover over everything, a nice thin layer to again just fill in a lot of those gaps. And then we can go with the final coat of the other stuff over the top of that. So here's our mortar layer, almost dry, and you can see it really smoothed everything out nicely, filled in all those gaps to make it look more like a natural sort of rock face. Firm dried up, and it's not too far from drying. So I'm actually going to apply the next thing now, because last time I made it like this and it dried too much. It was a bit too flaky and it made it really hard to spread the next stuff here, which is the Desert Gold liquid sandstone, the Mega Treat stuff. So this stuff's really good. It's got acrylic in it, and it's made from actual sandstone, so it's going to make it look like a legit rock. And yeah, it's going to make it look really nice. So let's try and spread this out all over the top here. A good thing I learned from last time was use a lot of water to help spread it out, but not too much, because then you'll dilute the colour. Liquid sandstone is on there, and what I've just done after that is actually gave it the sort of cracking look, that really extra textured sort of cracking in the rock. And all I did to do that was I grabbed a gum leaf branch here and just stroked out some lines, just a bunch of lines everywhere all over it, and then just came back with my brush again and just ever so gently just smoothed them out a tiny bit, just to sort of not make it look too exaggerated, a bit more subtle. And yeah, it gives it a really cool effect. It should hopefully look really nice when it's dry. So yeah. So the liquid sandstone is dry. I've just touched up a few places where there was a bit of foam showing and stuff like that, with a little bit more of it. But not much of that, so I'm going to start giving it a bit of paint to darken it up a bit. Because like I said, these guys are a rainforest species, so the rocks around there probably don't look exactly this bright. So I've got some brown paint. This is just non-toxic craft paint, and I'm going to see what we can do. I'm keeping it really watery for now so it doesn't totally coat everything, so the natural colour underneath can come through as well. We'll see how it goes. At the moment I'm just painting with some dark green, and again I like to keep it really watery so that when you paint it on it doesn't totally cover everything. It sort of blends together and lets what's underneath come through, so it's not overpowering. And then again you just want to be stroking along in the layered direction, and what you want to do is actually just stroke pretty lightly across, because you don't want to get everything with the colour. You want like some different variations in the colour, and it really helps give it a nice weathered look. So sort of just like that, just nice and gentle over the top, so you're not hitting every little bit, every little crack and crevice. Sort of just covering the surface a little bit, letting all the deep bits sort of stay as they are. So we've done multiple layers of sort of a dark brown, and then a dark brown mixed with green, a bit of dark browny black in some of the cracks, and then of course the dark green on top. And then now we're going for a slightly lighter green. It's still pretty dark though, because you don't want it to be too bright looking, because then it'll look not very realistic. And yeah, I'm only going to put a tiny bit of this lighter green on in just certain little areas to just look like a bit of extra moss growth or algae, whatever you want. Alright, so the painting is done. I'm going to leave it like this. I think I touched up a few areas with a bit more browns and stuff, but as you can see, it's, you know, a nice layered look. There's a bit of the sort of original sandstone in some of the cracks, and as you come to the top you get more of the greens and some darker bits of brown and stuff. So yeah, I really like the look. And so now we've got to keep this all intact, so we're going to cover it in pond sealer. So because this background's going to receive a lot of water, a lot of spraying and stuff, you don't want it to deteriorate over time, so I'm going to be putting some pond sealer over the top of it. Just want to use the clear in this case, because we don't want to just cover over the nice paint work we just did. So yeah, clear pond sealer. I'm going to hit with a layer of this, let it dry. So we want to hit every single part of this with the pond sealer. So this will also strengthen everything underneath, because it creates a nice sort of layer of protection over the top. It sort of binds everything together. You want to try not to fill up the cracks too much where it's like really white, because that can sort of leave a bit of a discoloration or a layer that's a bit thick in that area. Alright, here we have it. It's finally done. It's all dried, it's all pond sealed, and wow, it actually turned out even better than I thought it would. It looks so good. The camera probably doesn't pick up a lot of the colour details and stuff, but it's got a really good weathered textured look with sort of some greens on there. You know, sort of thing I was going for, you know. So this is going to look absolutely awesome. Looks a million times better than what it was before. And yeah, to me it looks just like a bloody universal rock background, you know. I'm pretty proud of this, to be honest. It's turned out really awesome. So yeah, that's all dry now, so we'll have to move it back inside and we can set up the enclosure and get the animals in there. I'm so excited. So first things first, we start with the drainage layer. This is how I have mine set up. So this enclosure is already really heavy, so I don't want to weigh it down with a whole bunch of rocks in the bottom like I'd normally use. So I have these PVC supports here that I just glued in, one in the front, and then just all around the edges I've got a bunch of rocks to make it look like it's covered in rocks at the bottom. Then on top of that, we put this bunch of crate here, and this will hold up all our substrate. We're going to put this shade cloth in. This will help separate the substrate from the drainage layer so nothing falls through. So we've covered the whole bottom with that, and then now we can add back in all the substrate. Check out all the worms in here. Heaps of them. It's just what you want. Now that we've got our soil back in, we can get to the really fun part, which is decking it out with all the branches and decorations. I'm going to go with this arrangement for now. So I've got this big log here. I've kept that one in the exact same spot as they had last time because that was one of their favourite spots. I got these two other vertical branches here, and I got this twisty vine that's coming down this way, another little vine in the back, and then another branch like that in the back. And then on top of this, I'm going to also add a couple of my own fake vines that I've made, sort of fill up some of that bare area. With all these logs that go right to the top, I'm going to put screws through the top so there's no chance of them ever failing or moving or anything like that. Alright, so there's all my decorations in. Lots of vines, as you can see. Some of those I made myself. Those green ones I made. The other ones are natural. And yeah, I'm loving the look of it. The boys should love it. So now I'm just going to add in a few plants. These are live plants. I'm definitely going to get some new live plants soon. Some different species that'll go in here better. But with everything at the moment, it's best not to leave the house if you don't have to. So I'm just going to put in what I have at the moment. And yeah, let's deck it out. So here you have it, guys. Took a long time to figure out how to get everything in there, but I think it's turned out amazing. It looks so much better than it did before. So yeah, let's get the lizards in and see how they like it. Let's get them out from down the bottom here. Alright, start with big boy. Here's a big male. See where he wants to go. Little holdback female. She looks absolutely awesome. She's going to jump for something. Let's see if she wants to go up there. And then big mama. See if she wants to sit up here. Awesome. They look amazing in there. So much better than before. How good's that? So yeah, I'm totally stoked with how it looks now. You guys know I love some nice naturalistic looking display enclosures. And yeah, this is a lot better for me. And the animals just look amazing in there. I love the new setup I did with the different branch orientation and stuff as well. It really gives a good look, and it's going to look so much better even again once I get the proper plants in there. I'm hoping to do sort of like my baby voids over here with the ficus. I want a big ficus like that. and some more pothos to hopefully climb up the back wall and stuff. So yeah, good things in the works. Everything's a work in progress. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope this video helped you out if you're looking to make your own rock background or anything like that, or just want some inspiration for a cool setup. If you liked the video, make sure you give it a like. Subscribe if you want to see more Australian reptiles, and I'll see you next time.